Hi friends! In a recent video, I mentioned that I have all my most used Procreate brushes saved in a favorites folder. In this video, I'm going to show you 2 ways to save your favorite brushes for easy access and a streamlined workflow. First, let me mention that the Procreate app is ever evolving and improving, so things might change in the future. At the time of this recording, I'm using version 5.3.6 of the app. Okay, let's get into it. The first option for saving brushes is to pin them. When you open the brush library, you will notice a section at the top that says Recent, and it has a star next to it. Whenever you use a brush in Procreate, it will temporarily appear in this Recent section. When you're working on a drawing, this makes it easy to quickly go back and forth between brushes currently in use. The downside is that this list is ever changing because it only shows you the last 8 brushes you used. So if you're working on a drawing and you want to go back to a brush that you used a few days ago, there's a chance that it has already been bumped off the list if you've used several brushes since then. One way to get around that is to pin your favorite brushes. When you use one of your favorite brushes and you decide that you want to pin it, go to Recent and find that brush that you just used. The most recently used brush will be at the top of the list. Now, swipe left on that brush and then tap Pin. A star will appear next to that brush and it will remain at the top of the list. As you use different brushes, the most recent 8 will still appear below your pinned brush. As far as I can tell, there's no limit to the number of brushes that you can pin. When I tested this, I was able to pin more than 30 brushes. Now, there are 2 tiny downsides to this method. The first is that if you have lots of brushes pinned, you're going to have to do quite a bit of scrolling to see the list of recently used brushes, which will be beneath all of your pinned brushes. So that does make the feature a little bit more cumbersome to use. Secondly, you can't move the pinned brushes around. So for example, if you want to put a particular brush at the top of the list so that you can keep your pinned brushes organized in a particular way, that's not an option. The pinned brushes are saved based on when you pinned them. So the most recently pinned one will remain at the top and you don't have the option to move them around. Now, these aren't huge problems, but they are things to keep in mind. Now, if you want to unpin a brush, simply swipe left and tap Unpin, and it will be removed from the list. Another thing that you can do is swipe left and just tap Clear, and that will also remove a brush from this Recent section. And that goes for pinned or unpinned brushes. So for example, here, these are just the most recently used, but they're not pinned. I can just swipe left and clear that from the Recent list. By the way, one other thing to note in this Recent section, if there's a brush on the list and you can't quite remember where you found it, which brush set it originally came from, you can swipe left on the brush and then tap Find, and it will take you to the original brush set. The other way to save brushes in Procreate is to create a favorites folder. Now, this method does require a few more steps, but it's still pretty straightforward. The first thing you'll do is to create a new set in the brush library by tapping the plus sign. Name the set whatever you'd like. I'm going to call this one Favorites. And by the way, once you have this set created, if you tap on the name, a menu will pop up on the left, which gives you options to rename, delete, share, or duplicate that set. Now, as you can see, the set is empty. There's nothing here on the right side. So we need to add a few brushes to this new favorites folder. First, find a brush that you want to add. Let's go with the 6B pencil. Now, once you found your brush, swipe left and then tap Duplicate. You'll notice that a 1 appears next to the name, which indicates that this is a replica. Now, it's really important to only move the duplicated version of the brush because you want to keep the original brush in place so that you keep the entire set intact. Now, on the left side, scroll back up so that your new favorites folder is visible. Now you're going to tap and hold the duplicated brush, and when you start to move it, you'll notice the green plus sign appear, and that indicates that it's ready to be added to another set. Now tap on that favorites folder that you created and then just drop that duplicated brush into the folder. And just continue this process with each brush you want to add to your favorites folder. So let's add another one. Let's go to the inking section, duplicate the dry ink brush. Now I need to make sure that my favorites folder is in sight so that when I tap and hold and start to move, I can just tap the favorites folder, drop the duplicated brush in. Let's take a look at that one more time. Now with this method, you can further organize the brushes within the folder by moving them around so that they're positioned exactly where you want them. Now the downside of this method is that if you cannot remember which brush set you pulled any of these brushes from, unfortunately the find feature is not available. That's only available in the recent section. But if you create a favorites folder, there's no option to easily find where you pulled that brush from. With this method, there's also no limit to the number of brushes you can add to your favorites folder. This is my personal favorites folder, and as you can see, I have quite a few brushes saved here. That's it. 2 simple ways to save your favorite brushes in Procreate. I hope you found this helpful. If you'd like access to more content, you can join my Patreon community where I share bonus videos, wallpaper downloads, color palettes, and drawing inspiration every month. I'd love to see you over there. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.